Hey dolls, it's me, Brenda Bressed, and you're watching Brenda Bressed TV, and today, baby, I'm back. Oh yes, hello everyone. Welcome back to Brenda Bressed TV. It is me. I am back. I am so sorry that I have been absent for so long. I do feel really terrible about it. It has been an extremely busy few months, and I honestly have not had the mental capacity to make any content. If you're new to the channel, my name is Brenda Bressed. I am a Melbourne-based singer, drag queen, musician, person, and I'm going to post videos on here as often as I can. So please, if you haven't already, click that subscribe button. Please give this video a like and comment down below if there's something you want to see, or just say hi. Just tell me how you're feeling. I want to know. Please forgive me for my extended leave of absence, but I am back and I am getting ready for a gig tonight. I have just spent the last week in Sydney visiting my lovely husband because I believe the last time, I'm not sure if I was married yet, but that is one of the things that has happened in the meantime. I've just got back today and I am getting ready for a gig at Frankston Brew House, which is very fabulous. But lots has been happening, which is why I have not been, making videos. If you didn't know, back in April, I did get married. Yes, we got married. And then in the month of May, I spent getting ready for a new season of Workin' 5 to 9 Overtime edition with my sisters Holly Pop and Brenda Bressed. Holly Pop and Brenda Bressed. Oh my god. Holly Pop and Delicatessen. Oh my god, can you tell that I've had a long day so far? So May was a lot of time spent prepping for the new season of that show. So that happened at the start of June. And then after that, I was preparing for a musical that I was in called Castro's Children, which was an Australian premiere, which was at the start of July. So that took up a lot of my time as well. So I've just been absolutely royally rooted. But for now, I thought better get back into making some videos, so I am going to get ready for the gig with you now. I'm going to quickly go and shave and block my eyebrows, and I will be right back. Okay, so we are back. I have shaved, I have covered my brows, and we're going to start getting ready. Okay, so I thought it might be fun today because it has come around to the 1 year anniversary of my blind audition airing on The Voice Australia. 1 year already. That's actually crazy. So I thought I would have a little chit chat with you while I get ready about how it came about that I got on The Voice. So I have always been a singer. If you know who I am, I have explained this before. I've always been a singer ever since I was young. I did singing lessons as a kid. I did contemporary voice as my one of my year 12 subjects at school. So I've always been a singer. And I'd auditioned for The Voice a couple of times. I auditioned a few times when I was like a teenager, you know, trying to figure myself out. When you're that age, you kind of think, oh yeah, like I can do anything. And I kind of thought I was, you know, the bee's knees. What you do, like when you audition for The Voice, the applications come around, you have to fill out this long questionnaire with all these questions about yourself, like about your background, your hobbies, your experience, all this kind of stuff. One of the questions they ask you is like, what's the hardest thing you've ever done, or like the most like challenging thing you've ever done, or basically they want to know what's a good story that we can use. What's some good backstory that we can use that makes you interesting to watch on TV? The next time I auditioned was when I was doing year 12. It was sort of towards the end of year 12. So I was 18 at the time. And this was when I actually had come out already. So in that section where they're like, what's the most challenging thing you've ever done? Or like the most pivotal moment in your life so far? I obviously spoke about, you know, growing up in a religious household and being, a gay kid in a Christian environment. By that point, I had been doing a lot more singing, so my voice was a bit stronger. So I got a in-person audition for that time. So they invited me and I had to go in and sing like a couple songs and chat to the story people about who I was, and then halfway through the day, once they've auditioned everyone, they like send half the room home and they're like, we don't need these people anymore. But I got to stay, which was exciting, and I was like, oh my God, this is cool. So then I had to go into another room and audition again for a different panel of, you know, judges, and sing the same songs and stuff. So it was a very, very long day. Like a couple of days after that audition, I was told, I'm sorry, you haven't made it. So that was my experience auditioning for the show before. So I kind of knew what I was getting into in terms of the audition experience. Mind you, back then I was auditioning as myself, as Bryce, not as Brenda. Fast forward to, what year was it? It was 2022, and the auditions had opened up for the season 12 of The Voice. And I knew that Jimmy the Queen, fabulous Melbourne drag queen, now international pop star, had already been on The Voice in drag. So I knew that they were not opposed to having drag queens on the show. And so I thought, you know what? I'm going to give this another crack. And this time I'm going to audition in drag as Brenda. Because I thought, you know what? That might get their attention. And that is a good story for them, and that makes good TV. Because the trick, if you're not sure by now, the trick with reality TV, if you want to get on, it does not matter what your talent is, how talented you are, what you think you can do. The only thing that the producers and casting directors are looking for is something entertaining, something that is going to get them views and ratings. That is what they want. So I thought, you know what? If I do this in drag, that will give me the point of difference, and that just might get me on the show. So same thing, I did the application, did it all as Brenda, but like, as much as Brenda is a character, Brenda is still very much me. And so I did it as myself and just said like, you know, my name's Brenda Bressed, and said that I was a drag queen, blah, 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 blah. Did the application, then got an email back to say, congratulations, you have made it through to the next round of casting, which was great. So I was very excited. So I went in, this time I guess I knew what I was getting into because I'd already done this process before. So I went in to the auditions, which are in the city. What happens, part of the application process, you have to send in a list of like 10 songs that is in your repertoire that you like to sing. And so I sent that through, and they chose off that list a couple songs that they wanted me to sing. Actually, no, from memory, I think I was able to choose one song that I wanted to sing in front of that. I think from memory in the audition, I sang Something's Got a Hold on Me, the Christina Aguilera version from Burlesque. They loved that in the audition. And part of the application as well, you have to list like if you've got any special skills or like things that people might not know about you. And so in the special skills, I put down obviously that, you know, I can yodel. So in the audition room, they were like, oh my God, I've just read that you can yodel. Will you yodel for us? And I was like, okay. And good thing I had my phone with me, and I had my yodeling track. So I yodeled for them, and they loved it. And so, yeah, left the audition room feeling really good. So that was the first audition. And then after that, I got an email to say, congratulations, you made it through to the next round. And I was like, oh, it's exciting. So the next round was a bit different to the last time. I didn't have to go in and do a group thing. It was just what they call a key check stage. They choose a song for you to sing for them if you were to get on the show. And luckily I got one, which was on my list that I sent through, because some of the other people did not get one that was on their list. And so of course they asked me to prepare Strong Enough, which ended up being my audition song on the show. And so they make up a little demo for you. They ask what key you want to sing it in. They make up a demo. Then they send that through to you. You rehearse with that, and then you sing it in front of them. So I, prepared the song, went in, did the audition, sang it for them a couple times. They're like, great, thank you so much. We'll be in touch. So that was like early December of 2022, I think, from memory. And then I think it was January that I got an email from them to say, congratulations, we would like you to come and sing on the blind auditions on the show. And I was so excited. I was thrilled. So the only thing was, my husband and I, Thomas, we had booked to go to Bali in March. And when they'd sent through the offer, the dates were like the end of March. And I was like, oh no, I don't want to cancel my holiday. Luckily, I was able to request a flight date towards the end of March. And it actually worked out perfectly because I flew back from Bali on the 29th, which was my birthday. It was kismet. It was meant to be. I flew back from Bali on the 29th, and that afternoon flew to Sydney to go film. So it was a very stressful 24 hours. So then I got to Sydney, and we were staying at a very modest hotel. I got there like in the afternoon/evening, so I just got in, had some dinner, went to bed. Had to be on set the next day, and it was what they call like media day, or I can't remember the term they use. It was something like media day, or something like that, where we filmed all the like little interview bits. If you've watched the audition, you'll see that like before you sing, they do like a little story about you. And like you talk to the camera and they film you like dancing around and walking around looking nervous and doing all that sort of stuff. So that was our first day on set, filming all of that stuff. And we also did like photo shoots as well for like our pictures. So that was like really, really fun. I had a great time that day, especially like all the like filming and stuff backstage where you're like walking around, because they had like all these different rooms with different lights that you could like walk up or dance around. They had a room where they had like all the pictures of the coaches hanging from the ceiling, and like you had to walk around and like look at them and go, ooh, which one am I gonna choose? And we also got to meet like a lot of the other contestants as well, which was really fun. So I made some friends on that first day, which was so nice. We also had to do our first like interview, which was like quite long, and that was one like sitting down talking to a producer in front of the camera. They ask you about like your background. It's like pretty much your story. So it's like probably 45 minutes to an hour. You're sitting there talking to a producer. And I hadn't done anything like that before. So it was kind of a bit nerve-wracking, and I found it quite challenging. And they were trying to like get in my head. I feel like they were, you know, trying to cast doubt. They're like, oh, it's a lot of pressure. Like, are you nervous? And like, I wasn't nervous going into it. But after that interview, I was like, am I nervous? There was this point in the interview, they put it in the edit, and I was like, oh, I just need a second. And it kind of looked like I was getting all in my head, but really I was just trying to think of things to say, because it was such a long interview and I was blanking. But yeah, I came out of that interview and I was like, oh my God, what is happening? Like, what is reality TV? It was really, really strange. But then I spoke to some of the other friends that I'd made that day, and they were all like, oh, I felt this. They all felt the same. But that's reality TV for you. They get in your head. They want good reactions from you. They want all the emotional stuff. That's what makes good TV. So that was fine. So that was our first day on set, and I had like the best time. I was living my best life. I was like, oh my God, I was in Sydney, and I was like, oh my God, I'm on TV. This is so cool. Everything was really exciting. So yeah, it was just a lot of fun. But then we had the next like 3 days off, I want to say. Well, I did it anyway, because they do the blind auditions over like 4 days. They film the blind auditions over 4 days. So I was on, I think, the 3rd day of auditions, and each day had like 2 sessions. So you were either the morning or the afternoon session. So I was the morning session, which I was really annoyed about because I had to get in drag and I had to be ready to go at 7 a.m. in the lobby. And they're like, you need to be on camera ready. So I'm like, right, okay. So it was a very early morning for me. But actually, before I go into the actual day, we were staying at a hotel. And like, as I said, we had a few days off. So I was making friends with other people who were there, and we were exploring Sydney and stuff. But little insider information for you. Don't tell anyone. One of the guys who was in the hotel with us, who was meant to be on the show, like auditioning, was this man named Herb Armstrong. And if that surname sounds familiar, it's because it is. We were like talking with him and I was like, God, his voice sounds really familiar. And we got talking to him. He's like this really deep, rich voiced African-American guy. And I was like, Armstrong, that's like sounds so familiar. And he was talking a lot about his grandfather and like all this music stuff that he's done. And I'm like, hang on a sec, your grandfather, who's your grandfather? And he goes, Louis Armstrong. And I was like, are you kidding me? Like the Louis Armstrong, trumpet extraordinaire, jazz legend, Louis Armstrong. And it was so cool. I was like beside myself. He was auditioning. He was on the same show that I was. Louis Armstrong's grandson. So cool. And he was such a funny guy. He was hilarious. He was telling us about how he was drinking red wine in bed and like spilled it all through his sheets, and like the housekeeping didn't change the sheets, and so he had red wine stained sheets. He was like exactly what you'd expect the grandson of like a famous person to be like, just haphazard, a bit of a mess, but like just so cool. So because you get to have your family there or your like specific support people watch you on camera, my family flew up the day before my audition date. Okay, so I just like went through and was talking to the camera and didn't realize that it wasn't recording. So I've skipped ahead to this part of my makeup. And I've forgotten what I've said because I've been talking the whole time about my experience. So I'm just going to give you a quick recap of what happened after that. So during that whole day of media stuff, we got to also do some rehearsals on the stage of our song. So we got to get a feel of the stage. We got a rundown of how it was going to, go. We also got to spend some time with the vocal coach, Gary Pinto, which was amazing. He gave us like some great tips, ran us through our song, gave us advice. He was amazing. He was really, really good to work with. So then the day finally arrived and it was my time to go to the studio. I got ready, we got taken to the studio and we were immediately taken to like the holding area, like the contestant stable, as it were. And there was a bunch of people waiting there already, some of the people that I'd met on the first day, which was great. So I got to say hi to them. And, as it works in TV and competitions and whatever, things take a long time. So I was like getting ready to settle in for a big wait. So I went to the bathroom and then I came back out, and immediately as I got out, they were like, okay, Brenda, we need to go. Like, you're on. And I was like, oh, that was quick. That was very quick. I get taken off, and again, before we head on, we got to go spend some more time with Gary, the vocal coach, which was amazing. He did a warm-up with me. We ran through my song. He asked me if there was like any final things I wanted to clear up, which was so good. And then they took me through to get mic'd up, because we use like a handheld mic to sing, but also like the body mic to catch anything else. Then we all were standing side stage waiting to go on. And where we were, we could like hear the person before me doing their audition and talking to the judges. So it was like very nerve-wracking. I was like, oh my God. And then it came time for me to go on. So right before I went on, one of the head producers and like the showrunner who, call the shots on everything and pretty much run the show, came and had a final chat with me, and they just like checked in. So we had that final chat, and then they're like, all right, Brenda, it's time. So if you haven't seen the show, before you walk onto stage, there at the back of the stage, there's two like automatic doors, and they open up like that, and then you walk through. So I'm standing on the other side of those doors, and I'm just like telling myself, I'm like, all right, this is it. If this is the only shot I get and I don't turn a chair, I'm gonna just try to enjoy myself. I was like, you know what? I am a performer. I am comfortable singing on a stage. It's one of my favorite things to do. And I thought, if this is all I get, I'm just going to enjoy myself and I'm going to entertain the crowd. So the automatic doors open up, and the audience is told that like they need to be quiet. So we've got our mark on the stage where we're meant to hit the mark. So doors open, it's silent. And I kid you not, as soon as the doors open, I had like an uncontrollable smile on my face. Like I literally could not stop smiling. I don't know why, but as soon as the doors open, I just had this like, it was crazy. I could not stop smiling. And so the audience is told to like not cheer and stuff. They're meant to be quiet until you start singing, right? But as soon as the doors open and I started walking onto stage, of course, everyone could see that I was a drag queen. And so people were like cheering, they were like, woo, 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 and they were like whistling and stuff. And I was like, immediately thought I had the audience on my side. And if you're a performer, you know, if you've got the audience on your side, that is all you need. And so I thought, well, I've got this massive audience here and I've got these 4 chairs in front of me. I can't see their faces, so I'm just going to perform to the audience. And that's what I did. So we're told you walk down to the front of the stage, you hit your mark, you take a breath, and then you look to your right to the music director when you're ready, and then you look back to the front. So I walked down, I took a breath, and I took it all in. I looked to my right to the music music director, and looked to the front, and I was like, okay, ready. And nothing happened. And I was like, what's going on? It's like, maybe he didn't see me, I don't know what. And so I'm standing there and I'm like, music's not starting. So then I look at him again and like look at him for a while and like nod and I'm like, mm-hmm. And then I look back to the front and then I wait and then eventually the music starts because I was like, what is going on? So a little tidbit of information for you. If you've ever watched the show, you know, when the judges hit their buzzer to turn around if they like what they hear, they press the buzzer, they turn around and there's this like whoosh sound. That sound is added in post. So when Rita hit her buzzer, as I just started singing, I didn't notice straight away that she had actually turned around because I didn't hear it because there was no sound. And so then I look and she's turned around and I went, oh my God, Rita Ora has turned around for me. And immediately then I was like, I've done what I've come to do. I was like, I've turned a chair on The Voice. I've did what I came to do. And so immediately I was like, you know what? I can just have fun with this song now. I don't need to worry about turning a chair. I can just enjoy the rest of the song. And then before I'd even got to the chorus, Guy Sebastian turns around as well. So I had turned 2 chairs. I couldn't believe it. I was so happy. And of course, you know what happens the rest of the audition. If you don't know, you can watch the video. I'll put a little snippet of it here maybe. But I'll also put like a link down in the description to the audition video if you want to watch it. And I get to the end of the song and I've got 2 judges turned around. So I had the choice of Guy Sebastian or Rita Ora. They're like, well, it's time for you to make a decision. Who are you going to choose as your coach? And I chose Rita Ora because she's an absolute diva. And so she came up and gave me a hug and she walked me over to my family who were waiting on the side. And she was so lovely. So she walks me over to my family and she's like having a quick chat with us, which is also really awkward because they walk you over to where your family is and we have like a little chit chat. In post, they add like audience sound as well. So the audience goes completely silent. We're in this massive sound stage with like hundreds of audience members. And I'm standing in this little side bit with Rita Ora and my family having this little private conversation in this massive room and it's silent. And so it was like really odd. And the cameras are like right up in your face. It was just really, really strange. Rita said this really funny thing. She was like, oh, because of my drag name, Brenda Bressed, she's like, oh, we're breasties now. We're breasties. And my husband, what he did, or she said like, we're breast friends or something. She said something along those lines. When she said that, they didn't put this in the edit, but my husband Thomas like looked down at Rita's chest because she doesn't have the biggest breasts. And he looked down at her chest and was like, as to be like, where are they? But they didn't add that in. Thank God. And yeah, so then I was whisked off stage and I got unmiked. And like as soon as you're done, they take you in and you have a quick session with a counselor. And they're like, oh my God, congratulations. Like they have I think it's like a protocol with reality TV now. You have to be constantly like chatting to counselors the whole time just to check in with you mentally, because I think the years of reality TV messing with people's mental health has caught up with the television and film industry. And they're like, yep, well, we'll send you back to the hotel and we will fly you home tomorrow probably. So they film like the blind auditions all in one go, like over 4 days. And then you come back for the next stage of the competition. So it's about 3 weeks in between the blind audition and the next stage that I went up to Sydney for again. So my family and I, we went out and celebrated that I turned a chair. We went out and had some lunch. And then I flew home the next day. So yeah, I might save the next part of my voice journey for another video when we went back up for the next round, which was the callbacks. I might save that story for another video because I've got a lot of fun goss about that time as well. I'm the kind of person that I just want to take every opportunity that I get, and that's what I did with The Voice. It was the opportunity that presented itself. It also got me some great exposure doing The Voice, which is quietly why I did it in the first place. All right, I'm gonna throw on a lash and a lip, and I will be right back with the finished look. And here we are with the finished look. I just got this outfit. I bought it off one of my sisters, dear Bobby Pin, designed by the fabulous Egg Saint Laurent. But yes, to sort of round out the whole experience, I had the most amazing time on The Voice, and I wouldn't change it for anything. And if you'd like to hear what happened when I went back up for the next installment, then please let me know in the comments. Chuck us a comment and say, yes, I want to hear what happened next, because I will give you all the goss. But without further ado, I am going to end the video here while I'm ahead. So if you've enjoyed yourself, please give this video a like, subscribe so you can keep up to date with all things me, and of course, leave me a comment. If you haven't, you can follow me on the socials at Brenda_Bressed. I'll put the link here. And until next time, wherever you are, I hope you have a fabulous, wonderful, lovely rest of your day. All my love in the world. Mwah. See ya, bitches.